only going to show one example of this. There could be more different type uses if for an application level you need to do this using sysnames and context info, but I'm going to go strictly inside SQL Server itself via some selects. And again, we're going to do some cleanup to start with. I've run this a few times on my system. Again, we're going to create some users, Rep 1, Rep 2, Rep 3, Julie, and Chuck. I'm going to create a role called Rep Managers and add the user Chuck to that role. I'm going to create a table called Account Reps, just some information for an account. We're going to add some selects, and we're going to insert into that table 3 reps, Rep 1, Rep 2, and Rep 3. We are not going to insert Julie or Chuck. We're going to create an account table. We're going to grant select to all the users we created on that new table. And we're going to insert some data. Some numbers there. You can see we're using the rep ID of 1, rep IDs of 2. So rep ID 3, Julie and Chuck are not going to have any data in this table. Now the way these are implemented is through a security function. And we have to create this function with schema binding. One thing to remember with schema binding is you can't make changes to the underlying table. So that means if you need to change this table that this function is bound to, you have to drop the function, make your table change, and then regenerate your functions. So we're going to create limit access, and it's going to return a table with schema binding, and we're going to simply select a 1, so something that means true, from the account rep table where the account rep ID equals the rep ID, and the rep ID is being passed in, and the SQL principal's name is the username, or if the user is a member of the rep managers or the server role sysadmin. So there is our function. We're going to add a security policy here. This is how we actually implement this function into these tables. We'll see we're going to create a function, a security policy called account and rep policy. And we're going to add a filter predicate. And we're going to add it for the function we just created. We're going to pass in the rep IDs, and we're going to add it to these two tables. We're going to add it to account reps and accounts. And we're going to set it to a state of on. So what this is basically doing is going to add another condition to our where conditions, and it's going to be and the account is allowed to see the row. The account's going to match the account rep ID. We're going to do some as myself from the two tables, and here we see I'm DBO. I can see the 3 and the 3 reps I added to the account rep table, and I can see 5 rows of data from our accounts table. I'm going to execute the same query as the user Chuck, who we added to the rep manager role, and we should see the same type thing. We see the user is Chuck. We see all 3 reps, and we see all 5 pieces of data from the account table. We're going to issue again the exact same selects as rep 1. For this, we should see only one row returned from the representatives table and 3 rows returned from our account table, because account rep 1 is the user that we said was responsible for those accounts. Here we see he can't see the accounts information for any other an account rep. We'll do the same thing for rep 2. Here we should see only 1 row returned, and he gets his 2 returns as the account owner on those rows of data. If we run as rep 3, we get 1 row from the account rep table, his own row, but no data in the account table since that user did not have any rows owned. And as the last one, we'll run as Julie, and here we see that user doesn't exist in the rep table, so they don't see any data from there. And since they don't own any rows in the account table, they can't see any rows in the accounts. So it is a way to keep people from seeing different data.